Hi folks, Dr. P here. This is probability assignment question number 4. In this question, 4 dimes are tossed by student 1 and 5 quarters are tossed by student 2. The number of heads is recorded by each student. In A, show the sample space as an array of ordered pairs. So in this table here, along the top here, we have student 1 number of heads that they tossed. So student 1 tossed 4 dimes. So they could, out of those 4 dimes, they could get 0 heads. They could get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 heads. Student 2 is tossing 5 quarters. So out of those 5 quarters, this student can get 0 heads, 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads, 4 heads, or they could get 5 heads. So it appears that this table is too small. There should be one more row at the bottom here. And now we're going to write or express the sample space as an array of ordered pairs. So we're going to go from the rows to the columns. So here, this outcome here is going to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and 0, 4. So this means that student number 1 tossed 4 heads and student number 2 tossed 0 heads. And then we have 1, 0, 1, 1, and so on. And finally, we have the final outcome, 5 and 4. In B, on this array, circle the outcomes for the events where student 1 recorded more heads than student 2. So student 1 is recording more heads than student 2. So I'm just going to put a little star in those grid cells. So here will be an example where student 1 tossed 1 head and student 2 tossed 0 heads. And that entire row will be student 1 tossing more heads than student 2. And that's it. Okay. So in C, we want to state the probability of the following events. Student 1 recording more heads than student 2. So this is going to be C, question 1. So probability, student 1 tosses more heads than student 2. So the formula for calculating probability is number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So the favorable outcomes here are the ones we labeled with these stars. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 favorable outcomes. And we have, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a total of 30 outcomes. So it's going to be 10 over 30. Which can be reduced down to 1 over 3, or 1/3. In the next question, they're asking us to determine the probability that student 1 recorded less heads than student 2. So I'm going to use a different color here, and I'm just going to indicate the grid cells here where student 1 recorded less heads than student 2. So this one here, for example, and these. Okay, all of these entries here would represent student 1 recording fewer heads than student 2. So it's going to be the probability of student 1 recording fewer heads or less heads than student 2. The number of favorable outcomes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we still have a total of 30 outcomes. 15 over 30 is the same as a half. And then finally, in question D, is the event in C2, this one right here, the complement of the event in C1, this one here? It is not the complement, because remember that the complement to an event are all the events that are not that event, right? So if we take a look at our outcome grid here, we can see that there are these entries that are right in between the red starred entries and the green starred entries, and these are the entries that have where students have the same number of heads. Okay, so that means that the complement of these outcomes that are green is not going to be just the outcomes that are red, because we're missing these outcomes in the middle along the diagonal that represent the students getting the same number of heads. Okay, so what we can say here is that is it the complement? No. Explain. Because we are not including outcomes where the students got the same number of heads. I hope that helps. Until next time, may the math be with you.